恭请大德圣听，为此法会及一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死离苦得乐，速证无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attain bliss and end birth and death and quickly realize non-birth.
Very good. Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Namo saranto suchetoye Allahati sanmya sanputo 无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered, even in a billion eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. Namo, quelling disasters, lengthening life, Medicine Master Buddha. 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 Medicine Master does come one, Medicine Master does come one, Medicine Master does come one, Medicine Master does come one. Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Venerable Master, and all good knowing advisors, Amitabha, welcome back to lecture number 194. So this week, we are going to continue. It's kind of like a summary. It's not either because I didn't share all of it, but it's kind of the same content, which will be a summarization of what we did last week. And then also, oh wait, before that, I have some pictures to show you. I did some research. I did some research into astrological phenomena of the sun and moon. So I have some pictures to show. So let's look at some pictures first before we go to what I have is Shufu's commentary from the Shurangama Sutra. And then after that, after we look at, we finish the ill omens, and then we look at the Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna is going to talk about why there are the 8 fasting days and how did we come to fast on the 8 fasting days. And I always thought I knew all of it, but I discovered something new, which I didn't get to share last week. So I'm excited to share that this week. Okay, and as usual, if anyone has any questions, you can please unmute your microphone at any time, or you feel appropriate, or you can type into the chat box. Okay, now let me show you some of the interesting photos that I have. I may even have a video, yes. Okay, so this is known as a sun dog. Okay, it's a halo around the moon, but sometimes it makes it appear as if three suns. This is the sun. 2 or 3 suns appear in the sky, and this is caused by from a scientific point of view, from science, it says it's caused by the refraction of sunlight by ice crystals in the atmosphere. All right. Now, so this is called a sun dog. And later in the text, they say if a sun has ears or moon has ears, this gives you an idea of how that can it could happen. Also, last week we looked at Shufu said that a girdle, it means it's like an ornament worn on either sides of the moon or the sun. So this is how it could appear. This is known as a sun halo. Sometimes they call it, I think, a sun rainbow. No, not a rainbow, sun halo. It's a circle around the sun. And the one on the left is in Singapore. It happened in Singapore. The one on the right happened in India, in a place called Uttar Pradesh. Sometimes it's a common occurrence, apparently. I don't remember. Has anyone seen one of these before? Anyway, now I have a video. The next one is a video. Okay, let me see how to play the video. Oh, okay, all right. Okay. There's no sound. It says in North China, you can see there's 2 suns. So that's the first sun, and then there's another sun. Now you're looking at the moon. It's scientifically it's called a lunar corona. All right, but other people call it moon ring or moon halo or moon rainbow. It says it usually happens during winter time. And then the next one that I have, the next picture that I have, say this is very rare because there's a comet green. You see the green line on the left hand side of the picture. So as a person was taking this, a comet came, or meteor. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go back. It says a moon bow. Sorry, no. There's a don't have any notes. And then this is a moon rainbow. It is very clearly like a rainbow around the moon. Okay. And this was captured in winter time in the US, but it doesn't say where. All right. Okay. Now we come to Shufu's commentary on the Shurangama Sutra. So Shufu says, suppose in Jambudvipa there's an island. Jambudvipa is our continent where humans are found. There are 4 other continents. Including Jambudvipa, there are 4 continents, and humans on one of the continents, Uttaraku, is kind of very weird. They have a lifespan of 500 years and it's fixed. That's the only place in the entire samsara, okay, where your lifespan is fixed. That's an interesting anecdote. Everywhere else, lifespan, even in the heavens, your lifespan is more or less. It's not for sure. It depends on your karma. Except Uttarakuru, but we are not in Uttarakuru. We are in Jambudvipa. Okay. Say, suppose in Jambudvipa there's an island. I'm sorry for giving you the random fact. Somehow or other it just popped into my mind. Okay. So Shufu says in Jambudvipa, suppose, okay, there's an island, maybe Singapore, a small continent with only 2 countries on it. Okay, so it's not like Singapore. It's a small continent with 2 countries on it. Now, although these 2 countries are on the same island, there's a boundary between them, And the karmic retribution the inhabitants experience is not the same. Okay, like maybe North and South Korea. Okay, so evil conditions, Shufu says, refers to inauspicious circumstances and many kinds of disasters and difficulties. Great winds, for example, or heavy rains. Shufu says, you see on that one continent, some people underwent the evil retribution and some people do not. So Shufu says, what do they see? Well, among supernatural events, Shiva says inauspicious things. Sometimes they see two suns, like in our video just now, very interesting, which is an indication of a great change within the country, something inauspicious. Perhaps the leader of the country will die or will be assassinated by someone who wants to usurp the power. There can't be two suns in the sky. If you see two suns or two moons, that is inauspicious. Okay? But not for sure. Later Shufu says not for sure. Then Shufu says, no matter what country it is, there will only be one sun and one moon. But the people of this country see two moons appear. So two moons also no good. And that indicates something inauspicious is in store. Okay. When the moon looks like it has water around it, as if it were soaking in water, there will be a windstorm. In the last week, Shufu clarified that it's not clouds. It's like a dark haze, which is different from clouds. Circles indicate the presence of an evil energy surrounding the moon. Just looking at it makes one uncomfortable. It is very unusual. Then girdle ornaments refers to a formation around the side of the sun or moon, which looks like the ornaments worn by women around their waist. In general, the sun and the moon can't be surrounded by anything. If there is something there, it is not a good sign. Okay, so very interestingly, when I was looking for a picture, the picture of the halo around the moon, around the sun, in that newspaper article in Singapore, they interviewed one man, and the man said, "Oh, it's such a great sign. It's such a lucky sign. And today is my mother's birthday." He said that. Yeah. Okay. Now, the light of a comet extends over a great distance during the reign of the first emperor of the Qin dynasty of China. Comets appeared quite often, and as a result, the people experienced extreme distress and suffered during that period. Then shooting stars or meteors also emit a long trail of light, though not as long as a comet's, but the appearance is brief. Anyone seen a shooting star before? When you go to a place and it's dark enough, and you just stare at the sky. I think you stare long enough, chances are you probably get to see at least one shooting star. I'm not sure, but yeah. They are just like flickering flames. One is gone and then another appears, then that one disappears and yet another appears. The shooting stars dart through space and sometimes they fall in showers and celestial rocks fall out of the sky, just like rain pouring down. I had some pictures, but I didn't include it in the slide. If anyone's interested, just it's called a meteor shower. Yeah, they have photographs where the camera opens long enough and they capture a few in one frame. Or they can use Photoshop and they can put all the different meteors into one photo. So Shufu says all these signs indicate that heaven and earth are out of balance. Nevertheless, if you can change, if the people of that country can change their minds, everything will be all right. If the country is flourishing, then every single thing is auspicious. If the country is on the decline, then every single thing is inauspicious. How can an entire country change their minds? Well, not sure. If one person has a reward of blessings, the rest of the people can follow along and borrow his light. Okay, that's an answer there. If the people follow someone who lacks blessings, they will undergo suffering. Now, Shufu says, take a look at a country's leader, the president. If he has blessings, the people will follow him and have blessings as well. If he hasn't any blessings, the people will follow him and endure suffering. It can be said that the head of a country is responsible for every circumstance. Now, if you look at modern examples, sometimes the word blessings can be confusing because someone can have a lot of blessings as a head of a country, but yet he profits, but a lot of people in the country don't. So perhaps blessings here can also mean merit as well. So Shufu says, one's fate is not fixed. Auspicious and inauspicious are not fixed either. All you have to do is do good, for as soon as you change your mind, everything changes. Why are things inauspicious? Because your mind has inauspiciousness in it. That is why you encounter inauspicious circumstances. False views give rise to false causes and conditions. If your views are true, the false causes and conditions disappear. You know what this reminds me of? Not quite the same, but different, same but different, is the sutra called the Salt Crystal Sutra. If you have time towards the end, if anyone is interested in the sutra, or you think it might be, or you know the sutra already, but you think it might be beneficial for people to know, please remind me, okay? All right, all depends on whether we have enough time. So Shuvuke says, okay, so usually we think that, if we see an inauspicious sign, it brings bad luck or disaster. But actually, Shuvu says that kind of incident is incident meaning inauspicious sign or ill omen, is a response to living beings' karma, in which the heavenly demons and adherents of external paths come to destroy our world. That's what happens whenever there's a natural disaster or a man-made calamity. But if there is a high sanghan with great virtue at the place where a calamity is to occur, at that time Shufu talked about the Philippines, he says, or if there's a bodhisattva or an arhat who has been certified to the fruition living at that place, then the disaster can be averted. When a person of greatly virtuous practice goes even into the most dangerous situations, he can turn the inauspicious into the auspicious. He can make difficulties become fortunate circumstances. He can cause the most dangerous moments to pass in uneventfully. This reminds me when Shufu said, one day he says, as long as he's in California, there won't be any earthquake. Yeah, I think something like that. Shufu said that. And then Shufu went on a trip. I'm not sure. I can't remember the details. I think he went to Taiwan or something. And then when he left, and he wasn't in California, California had a mild earthquake. Someone told Shufu, and Shufu, it was, when the story was told to me, it was like Shufu reacted with, oh, I forgot. Something like that. Like he forgot. Yeah, what he forgot, I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, now, the second part of the Shurangama Sutra says, this is the sutra text. So I'm going to put my palms together. It says, no evil stars and no ghost or spirit that harbors malice in his heart and that poisons people can work his evil on these people. What people? Those who recite the Shurangama mantra. Vinayaka, as well as all the evil ghost kings and the retinues, will be led by deep kindness to always guard and protect them. Okay, now this is going to be very interesting. Okay, so Shufu, in his commentary, he says, any kind of poisonous things that enters the mouth of a person who recites, oh, there's a typo, it's not hand, it should be an, okay, no H there, who recites and upholds Shurangama mantra will turn into sweet dew. These things are basically poisonous, but their composition changes. And the change comes about because one recites and upholds the Shurangama mantra. And Shiva says, no evil star refers to evil constellations and such things as what Tai Sui, and the white tiger star, which is terrible. So they represent evil or demonic entities. And there's the star Sangmen, Sangmen, which is extremely inauspicious and can kill people. But none of these stars can harm anyone or any ghost or spirit that harbors malice in his heart. Nor can any ghost. That means the stars or any ghost, any malicious ghost or spirit cannot harm people if you recite the Shurangama mantra. Then Shufu says some people don't believe in ghosts or spirits because they've never seen one, so they don't believe there are any. And it says even if they saw one, they have no way to believe in it, even if they didn't want to. Yeah. Okay. Then Shufu talks about malice is like a kind of poison, like arsenic. So the drug is fatal if more than a little is taken. Arsenic. Arsenic is like that. But someone with even that much poison in his heart still cannot harm a person who recites and upholds the Shurangama mantra. He cannot work his evil on these people. Rather, the poison in their own hearts is transformed. Imagine that. So you not just protect yourself, but you can help elicit a change, a transformation in the other person as well. Now, okay, Chufu mentioned someone by the name of Vinayaka. Okay, so 5 points goes to who I'm going to reveal in my next slide, but who can guess who Vinayaka is? Okay, Shiva says Vinayaka was mentioned in the description of setting up the Bodhi Manda when we set up a way place in a temple. Excuse me, when we set up a temple, we have to set the boundaries, and there are certain rituals or ceremonies that we do to secure the boundaries of the temple. I think I mentioned that last week. So, Vinayaka is one of them that we invoke, and he's a protector with the various transformations which often show a boar or an elephant head with a trunk on a human body. So Shiva says, in general, he's very ugly. Okay, can anyone guess who is this? Who do you know has a elephant head?
Lord
Ganesh.
Ganesha.
Not Ganesh.
Yes, yes. Okay, there you go. All right. Otherwise known as Lord Ganesh. So who knew? He's a Dharma protector in Buddhism. It says Lord Ganesh, as well as the evil ghost kings and their retinues, will be led by deep kindness to always guard and protect them. Now you know why he's so popular with Hindus. Having been influenced by the profound compassion of the Buddha in the past, these ghost kings and Dharma protectors have resolved to always guard and protect those who recite and uphold the Shurangama mantra. So Shufu says the advantages of reciting the Shurangama mantra are truly inconceivable. Okay, now before I move on to the 8 precepts, anyone? Anything? No? Okay, if anyone knows of any other, what's the question? That's what I'm asking you. Does anyone have any questions?
That
You have one, Jenny?
No, I don't understand. Sorry. It's okay.
Oh,
Continue.
yeah. I was asking if anyone had any questions or anything you want to say. Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. So now we come to Nagarjuna Bodhisattva. He has quite a few texts, and this is on the 6 perfections. Nagarjuna Bodhisattva always writes on the Bodhisattva path. So here he talks about the 8 precepts. In this particular translation by he is what's his name? He has a different pen name. He is one of the first 5 disciples of Shufu in California. He's my senior and I forgot his name. Okay, anyway, he translated the text that I'm referring to right now. So someone asked Nagarjuna Bodhisattva, it says on the 6 days of abstinence, these are the 6, otherwise known as the Uposatha Days or the 6 days of fasting. It says one takes the 8 precepts. He said, why is it on these 6 days one takes the 8 precepts and cultivates merit? Okay, so what are the 8 days? The 8 days are the 8th. These are the lunar month. Okay, so the 8th, the 14th, the 15th, the 23rd, 29th, and the 30th. All right. And it is said that if a month has 29 days, the last 2 days should be the 28th and the 29th. Instead of the 29th and 30th, is the last 2 days. Okay, 28th and 29th. Now, I'm not sure how many of you observe this. If you have taken the Bodhisattva precepts, you have to. Okay. Okay, Carrie has a question. It says, may I know whether chanting the Shurangama Heart Mantra will be the same as chanting the complete Shurangama mantra? No, it's not the same. Because the mantra, the actual mantra has 5 sections, and each section has a different purpose. But so it would be best. Shufu always encourages us to memorize the whole mantra. Yeah. So I'm not sure what are the differences, but I'm quite sure there are differences because the already each segment of there are 5 parts of the entire mantra, and each segment has a different purpose depending on what you need to do. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm not sure about anyone has memorized these dates, because when I took the Bodhi, I have never memorized these dates, and until now I have not memorized. Why? Because I've never had to. When I took the Bodhisattva precepts, I was already living in the city of 10,000 Buddhas, and at that time, I already was not eating dinner. So I never had the need to really memorize. And because we follow the lifestyle there, almost every day you could say that we are using, you follow the 8 precepts. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, now, so life is easier. You don't have to memorize. Oh, today I can eat. Tomorrow I can eat. You just don't eat every day, and it's so much simpler. Yeah. You don't have to worry if you actually broke the precept by not eating on that day, or eating on that day you're not supposed to. Okay, so Nagarjuna Bodhisattva answers, says, it is on these days that evil ghosts pursue people desiring to steal their lives. Serious. They bring acute illnesses and calamity. Anyone can help me? Calamities? Okay.
Calamitous.
Okay. Is she correct? No, I don't. It's not that I doubt you. I just want to make sure.
Calamitous.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jenny. Sorry, I didn't mean to doubt you. Yeah.
No, it's
Okay.
okay.
All right. Calamitous, ruination, and thus cause people misfortune. Okay. So you don't want misfortune. Try to observe the 8 precepts on the 6 days. Therefore, the sages at the beginning of the Kalpa instructed people to observe days of abstinence. So not just Shakyamuni Buddha, okay? All the Buddhas, in fact, and asked us to cultivate, do good things, and do materialist deeds. Why? You want to avoid calamity and ruination. All right? Now, moving on, Nagarjuna explains further. He says at that time, the abstinence dharma, that means the 8 precepts, did not involve taking these 8 precepts. Sorry, the Uposatha Days did not involve taking these 8 precepts. All right, there was no such thing as 8 precepts. All you did is what? 1 day going without food. But, okay, those of you who have been following this lectures, you know, or I have told you all, or I've shown you all before, when it comes to the 8 precepts, what is the meaning of food? Okay, food is not just the food that we eat. There are 4 kinds of nutriments. For example, sight, sound, smells, taste, objects of touch, and dharmas. Those are considered food as well. But food in a different kind, because it fuels our our continued existence in samsara. Okay, so food, there are 4 kinds of food, which I don't have the notes right now. I'm not going to go into. But when you read this single sentence, it only took going 1 day without food as constituting abstinence. Is not just on food that we eat with our mouths. Okay, it's how we regulate our body, mouth, and mind. Which includes all our senses. Okay, now, then he says, when the Buddha came forth into the world, that's how the Buddha taught people. It says, in the manner of the Buddha, you should uphold the 8 precepts for 1 day and 1 night, while also refraining from eating after midday. And this merit will take a person forth to nirvana. Why? How can the 8 precepts take you to nirvana? Well, because the 8 precepts create the conditions for meditation, for your practice. Meditation also includes recitation, memorization, bowing. Okay, the Sanskrit term is known as bhavana. That means Buddhist practices. You can bow to you can recite one character in a sutra and then bow. Then you stand up, then you recite another character and then bow. That constitutes practice as well. And so when you take the 8 precepts, right, it is supposed to create monastic conditions. You're supposed to live like a monastic. And then what do? You meditate or you do bhavana, Buddhist practices. Okay. That's how you get to nirvana. All right. Okay. According to what the Buddha said in the Sutra of the Four Heavenly Kings. This sutra is a very interesting sutra. I actually, if we have enough time, I have 2 versions of the sutra to share with you because both are equally interesting. One is from the Chinese, the Mahayana, not the Chinese, the Mahayana collection, and one is from the Theravada collection. Both is the principle is the same, but the approach and the explanation is very different. Okay, so it says in this sutra, the 4 heavenly kings, what happens? Okay, so on the 6 days, the first day, let me see how have I organized my notes. Oh my, I lose mindfulness and start coughing. Oh, okay, so what happens is this: 6 monthly abstinent days or the Uposatha days, the retainers, princes, the retainers of the 4 heavenly kings and the princes who are the sons of the 4 heavenly kings. Each heavenly king has 999 sons or princes. So what happens is they come down, they observe, they investigate the status of living beings, giving maintenance of the precepts and filial piety. Filial piety is not a great word. It should be filiality towards their fathers and mothers. Why I say it's not such a great word? Because filial piety is more like blind obedience. You just stupidly follow whatever your parents say. Whereas being filial is different. You use wisdom because there is the wish for their happiness and for their well-being. So you won't do anything that will harm them, for example, even if they wanted it. Okay, all right. Then they ascend to the Trimtrimsha heaven and inform chakra. Okay. Later, I will show you on what days who comes down. Okay. It's kind of like Santa Claus, he knows who's naughty and nice. Yeah, same thing. I said that it's not Santa Claus, it's the kings of the heavenly realms that know what you do. Okay, Nagarjuna says, because the great and revered gods are delighted, one gains an increased amount of merit. Additionally, on these 6 abstinence days, evil ghosts bring harm to people and strive to visit affliction and confusion upon everyone. If in the open country, village, prefecture, province, country, or city-state, that means anywhere you can go, and while in abides, there is a person who observes the days of abstinence. Okay, remember just now in the Shurangama Sutra, Shufu says if there's a high Sanghan, okay, this has to do with the 8 precepts. So this person observes the 6 days, he takes the precepts and he practices goodness, wholesome deeds. And because of this, the evil ghosts depart far away and the place in which one dwells become peaceful and secure. One way to understand it is the person has Dharma protectors. The Dharma protectors will protect the person and everyone in the vicinity will benefit. For this reason, if one observes the abstinences and takes the precepts on these 6 days, one thereby gains increased merit. So not only that, in the Shurangama mantra commentary, even the evil kings will turn into Dharma protectors. Evil spirits will turn into Dharma protectors. Okay, so now we have this version, right? Why? So we know that on these 6 days, the heavenly kings come down, and we also know that the evil spirits will try to harm people on these 6 days. But how did that come about? All right. Okay, so Nagarjuna reveals. Actually, someone asked Nagarjuna Bodhisattva this question. It says, why do the evil ghosts and spirits take advantage of these 6 days to visit affliction and harm on people? Okay. So apparently, there's a sutra on the origins of heaven and earth. And it states that when this kalpa first began, there was a different Brahma deity's son who was the father of the ghosts and spirits. So this is not the current Lord Brahma that we know of. This is different. Why different? Well, because they have lifespans. Okay, even Lord Brahma, although his lifespan is very long, they have lifespans, and one comes and the next one comes and goes, and the next one comes and takes his place. Okay, so this particular one had a son who was the father of the ghosts and spirits. He cultivated a form of brahmacharin ascetic practice whereby for a full 12 heavenly years. Okay, that's very long. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can. Let me see. Anyone knows in the Brahma world, 12 years is how many, equivalent to how many human years? Anyone? Okay, hold on. I have my slides with me. Oh, let me see. Okay, in the Brahma world, okay, assuming this is the second, okay, the heaven of the first dhyana has 3 heavens. Lord Brahma is in heaven number 3, the top heaven. Assuming that is the heaven, okay. Oh my. Okay, I'll just show it to you, okay, on screen because there's too many zeros. Okay, let me show you. All right, what are we looking at? Okay, look at the green part. Okay. Now, I'm going to highlight here. All right. This heavens of the first dhyana, okay, has 3 heavens in the first dhyana. How do you get how do you get there? Practice loving kindness and then you meditate. And if you have loving kindness, you can get into the first dhyana. And if you can maintain your first dhyana, then chances are when you die, you can be reborn in this heaven on the first dhyana. Okay, so, but if you don't have loving kindness, forget about the first dhyana. You may be able to attain the first dhyana when you meditate, but you definitely won't be able to sustain. Okay, so you can forget about this heaven and the heavens above. Okay, so Lord Brahma is in the first heaven. The third heaven, the higher one. All right, and the lifespan there is 3 middle kalpas. And let me see if I have a note on what the kalpa is. Let me see. Kalpa. I think I have it on the bottom. What is a kalpa? If not, someone can look up. Oh, no, I don't have a definition of what is kalpa here, but I can find out. So anyway.
One kalpa
3
is equivalent to 4.32 billion human years.
Okay, Okay,
One
I understood.
kalpa.
Thank you. Yeah, I got it. You just need to here. Human years for 3 middle kalpas, because they're small, middle, and large kalpa. So, how you say? How many zeros is this? Okay, this is 1 million. Okay, this is 1 billion, 1 trillion, 1 trillion, 7 billion, and 888 million human years is 3 middle kalpas. So you want to know what is 12 heavenly years there? You go work it out. Okay, maybe JinHe is very fast. Maybe JinHe can work it out. Okay, but I prefer that JinHe listen instead. Okay, all right, I'm going to close this file. Okay, so what did he do for 12 heavenly years, which is a really long time from human years? It says, on every of these 6 days, he will cut away his flesh and drew blood, and then he will place them in a fire. Okay. I'm not sure how many of y'all are turning vegetarian. This reminds me of my time when I turned vegetarian. I had a very hard time becoming a vegetarian when I took the 5 precepts. Really, really hard time. Then I remember, you know how hard it was? In one of my dreams, I wanted to eat something called bakute. Bakute is they take pork and you only the the proper bakute is only herbs, water, salt, and pork. And you just go and boil, 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 boil. And I remember in my dream I wanted to eat it. But to my credit, in my dream, I remembered that I took the 5 precepts. So in my dream, I said, oh, I can't eat because I've taken the 5 precepts. So what did I do? I cut off my own flesh in my dream, or at least I wanted to. I don't remember, but I wanted to cut off my own flesh because I'm not killing anyone. And I wanted to cook my own bakute. Okay, but different from this Lord Brahma's son. Okay, anyway, okay, so he will place them in a fire. Then it was because of this that he did that the evil ghosts and spirits will on these 6 days have particularly strong powers enough for them to come and disturb you. Okay, then someone asked Nagarjuna Bodhisattva, says, why on these 6 days did the father of the ghosts and spirits cut away the flesh? And like, why of all things did he do this? So the answer is this. It says the Maheshvara spirit is the biggest and the most primary in status. I think that's his name. It says all of the spirits have an allotted number of days. I think that's when they can get out and create trouble. So Maheshvara has an allotment of 4 days out of each month. The 8th, the 23rd, the 14th, and the 29th. The other spirits have an allotment of 2 days out of each month. Their first day out of the month is the 16th, and the I think, and the 30th belong collectively to all spirits. Okay, now, what has this got to do with anything? Because Maheshvara is the lord of all the spirits, and because he has been allotted the most days, his 4 days come to be counted as abstinent days. The other 2 days also counted as abstinent days are the days belonging collectively to all of the spirits. See how nice to have Nagarjuna Bodhisattva to explain all these things, which otherwise we would never know. Then hence, all of the ghosts and spirits suddenly possess strong powers on these 6 days. Okay. Furthermore, after the father of ghosts and spirits had continued for 12 years his practice of cutting away his flesh, drawing off his blood, and placing them in fire, the king of the gods descended and asked his son, what prayer do you seek to fulfill by doing this? Okay. From this, if we do detective work, we can concur that Maheshvara, Brahma's son, isn't in the 3rd heaven of the first dhyana, probably in the 2nd. Okay, probably in the 2nd heaven. So the father is very curious, like, son, what are you trying to do? So he said, I seek to have sons. So different. So the king of the gods said, it is the offering method of the rishis to employ the burning of incense, the offering up of sweet fruits, and the carrying out of all manner of pure endeavors. Okay. You can see where it's going with this. It says, why do you employ this method of placing flesh and blood into fire, a method associated with offensive and evil dharmas? In other words, the father is saying, what is wrong with you? Okay, what's wrong with you? Your destruction of the dharma of goodness and your taking pleasure in carrying out evil endeavors will cause you to give birth to evil sons who feast on flesh and drink blood. I wonder if this encounter can be found in the Vedas or in Hindu scriptures. Okay, so Levan says, one Brahma year is equivalent to 3.11 trillion human years. There you go. So 12 Brahma years is 3 times, what did I say just now? 12, yeah. So 36 human, no, not 36, 12 times, 36, sorry. What did I say? 36? Oh my, I'm so confused. Anyway, it's a very long time. Okay, very, very long time. 36 trillion human years. He did this practice. Okay. Now, right after the father tried to tell the son, hey, you know, what's wrong with you? He says, in accordance with his proclamation, eight huge ghosts came forth from the fire. They had ink black bodies, yellow hair, red eyes, and they shone with abundant light. Then all manner of ghosts and spirits were born from these 8 ghosts. Thus, it was this practice of placing his own flesh and blood into fire resulted in the generation of such power. Okay, but the last paragraph is extremely important and is consistent with what we've been reading. Nagarjuna Bodhisattva says, as for the Buddha's Dharma though, okay, but from the perspective of the Dharma, says these days are devoid of any particular auspiciousness or adversity. You don't have to worry about them. It says, but nonetheless, as an adaptation to the world's treatment of these and is as inauspicious days, one is instructed to observe the abstinences and take the 8 precepts on these days. Okay, so there's a think of it as skillful means, all right, to at least observe, do some good. Okay, because we observing. In fact, the 8 precepts should be observed every day if you can, or any day that you're able to. Yeah. Okay. And who would do something like that? Well, monastics do. That's what monastics do. Okay, we have time. Okay, good. Let me share with you, all right, the Mahayana version of the Sutra of the 4 Heavenly Kings, but only a short excerpt, okay, not all of it. So if you want to know who comes down on when, okay, so the sutra says, on days of fasting, restrain your mind. This is the Buddha speaking right now, Shakyamuni Buddha. He says, restrain your body, restrain your mind, guard your body, watch over your speech. Okay, so body, speech, and mind. On fasting days, the gods observe the good and evil of humans. Excuse me. Let me drink some water. And the Buddha explains, he says, on Mount Sumeru, I mean, at the top of Mount Sumeru is the 2nd heaven, and the name is Triamtrimsha, heaven of the 33. The king is Chakra, or Lord Indra, and he has great merit and virtue. And then who does he govern? He looks after he gives instructions to the 4 heavenly kings from the heaven below, or the heaven of the 4 kings. And the 4 kings, they guard the 4 quarters, so each governs one direction. I think the Shurangama mantra also has to do with these 4 directions. So on the 8th day of each month, they send envoys down to the world. Okay, so the envoys or the ministers of the 4 heavenly kings are sent down on the 8th day. And what do? They look at everyone. They inspect throughout, whether you're a king, a minister, a citizen, dragon, a spirit, you're a creeping creature, like let's say a snake or one of those kind of insects. You fly, whether you crawl. Oh no, actually snake is crawl. Creeping is what? What's a creeping creature? You crawl, you wriggle like a worm. Okay, they see your thoughts, your words, and your deeds, whether good or evil. Okay, so you can't escape. They are the Dharma equivalent of Santa Claus. And then on the 14th day, the princes themselves will descend. Then on the 15th day, the 4 kings come down. Then on the 23rd, they take turns. Okay, the envoys or the ministers come. Then 29, the princes turn. Then on the 30th, the 4 kings. All right, if you're from heaven, you don't really want to come down too much. So I think that's why they take turns. Then when the 4 kings descend, Then also the sun, moon, the 5 planets, and the 28 constellations, together with the other gods, all descend in attendance. Okay, they'll come to see what you're up to. And then the 4 kings will command. He says, diligently watch over living beings and carry out blessings or misfortune. Okay, that means it's not all good news. If on these days they take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha of monks, they keep a pure heart and observe fasting, give alms to the poor, uphold precepts, practice patience, diligence, and meditation, delight in scriptures, and expound them, enlightening the blind and ignorant, are filial to parents, serve the 3 jewels, bow and receive the Dharma, practice the 4 immeasurable minds, and nurture living beings with compassion. Report all this in detail to Chakra, to Lord Chakra, okay, King of the Heaven of the 33. Okay, so those of you who are in the WhatsApp group where you get a sutra every day, so you at least you're fulfilling one part, delight in scriptures. Okay, now what happens next? If many cultivate virtue and persevere without slackening, Chakra and his 32 ministers are all greatly joyful. Who are these 32 ministers? Well, the name of the heaven is called the heaven of the 33. Lord Chakra and his 32 ministers make up 33. How did they become ministers and king of the heaven? Well, in his former life, Chakra was a woman, and I don't think she was a rich woman, but she found a an abandoned temple without a roof, without a ceiling, and so the Buddha images inside were exposed to the environment. So she had 32 rich friends, and together they rebuilt the temple. So when they all died, they became Lord Chakra and the ministers, the 32 ministers of this heaven. Okay, now Chakra is happy. All right, he hears that people have been practicing, so he issues a decree, like an emperor issues a decree. He says to lengthen your lives and increase your years, to dispatch good spirits to protect your bodies. And then according to the number of precepts kept, if 1 precept is upheld, 5 gods protect you. And if all 5 precepts are held, 5 times 5, you get what? 25. All right. And they guard not just you, but your house. And then calamities, epidemics, demons, and hidden plots are destroyed. So they find out what's going on. Like, why are you like that? And they destroy it. At night, there are no evil dreams. Officials, thieves, fire, flood, disasters, they all bring no harm. No misfortunes, and strange omens, they all vanish. Okay, so this is why it's important to hold the 8 precepts whenever you can. And only this, the 4 immeasurable minds, these are known as the 4 Brahma Viharas, the abode of the gods. What gods? The Brahma gods. Why abode? Abode means the dwelling of the gods. That's how they dwell. They dwell in loving kindness, compassion, equanimity. Not before equanimity is empathetic joy, and what's wrong with me? I just said it, and equanimity. Yes, these 4 make up the Brahma Viharas. What else? 5 precepts, and then the 8 precepts on the 6 fasting days. Buddha says these are like great waters that extinguish a small fire. The fire has no chance. Okay, so at the end of life, the soul, or rather your your rebirth. This translation is by ChatGPT because this sutra is only available in Chinese. So the soul here is not quite the right word to use. So what happened? You are reborn in the heavenly places of 7 treasures where no wish goes unfulfilled. Okay, but if you don't, all right, you steal, you commit adultery, you gossip, or you divide people with double-tongued speech, you abuse people with your speech, you lie, you flatter, you curse, and then you also have spells and all that. You have jealousy. Where does jealousy come from? Because you don't have empathetic joy. What is empathetic joy? Okay. When you have loving kindness, okay, you have loving kindness first for yourself. Then when you're happy with yourself, you're confident in yourself, then you can generate loving kindness for others. That means you always wish for people's happiness. Now, when these people, they encounter success in life, they get things, all right, they come from a more fortunate place. They have a larger house, they have a better car, they have a better job. It doesn't threaten how you feel. Okay, why? Because you have empathetic joy. It's like insurance for happiness. You're already happy with yourself. Okay, but when, say, your neighbor gets a promotion or they buy a new car, you're happy for them too. You don't feel jealous, you don't feel envy, you don't feel as if you are lacking in yourself. Why? Because you recognize your own virtues. Okay, you have so many good things because you practice, you listen to the sutras, you practice generosity, you really, really take care of people, and in your heart, you wish for the goodness of people. So, your well-being, how you feel about yourself, isn't threatened by how other people feel about you because you know you're trying your best. Okay. So, when you have that confidence and people around you enjoy success or luck, which you don't get to, it doesn't threaten how you feel. So empathetic joy makes you happy when people around you encounter success or good fortune or whatever it is. Okay, so instead of jealousy that can turn into anger or whatever it is, whatever emotion or lack of self-confidence, you feel happy for them instead. Okay, now if you do all this, all these unwholesome things, you oppose the Buddha and the Dharma, you slander the Sangha. That means you go against people striving for wisdom. And then you confuse people by saying good is evil and evil is good. What happens? Well, you get reported, and then Chakra and the gods are not happy with you. Okay, that means the heavenly beings look down on you, and they're not happy with you at all. So what happens? They don't guard you. They say, okay, you can fend for yourself. All right. The sun and moon lose their light. The stars stray from their courses. Wind and rain become untimely. So he says, in this present life, people should reform past errors and cultivate for the future. The Buddha is saying this. Cleanse the mind and purify through fasting. Confess faults before the triple jewel or the three jewels. Nurture parents with the four immeasurables. Be loyal to rulers. Admonish with a compassionate heart. Act sincerely without deceit. Turn from past faults and reform for the future. Abandon default conduct and approach the way of purity. Okay. Now, if you can do that, all right, Chakra and the four kings become happy. The sun and the moon will shine, stars remain constant, winds and rains come in season, poisons dissipate, heaven sends down sweet dew, earth brings forth flowing springs, grains and fruits are flavorful, and eating them brings little sickness. Flowers are radiant, life grows longer. In life, one does not fall into prisons. In death, one is reborn in heaven. Whatever you wish, you will get. You can fly freely at will. Your existence is sovereign. A sunlight light shines from your brow. Food is self-digested. In no sickness of digestion. The body is fragrant and pure. This is definitely a Mahayana sutra. The breath perfume, the sun, moons, and stars are the palaces of the gods. 7 jewel halls hang in the sky, appearing wherever the mind wishes. At death, one may be reborn among noble families with radiant appearance, delighting all who see, encountering Buddhas, meeting the Dharma, joining sages, progressing in practice, not meeting with sin, surely attaining nirvana. And all you have to do, okay, like if you watch TV, they try to sell you something, all this for the low price of something, right? Well, this doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do, follow the 5 precepts, the 10 good deeds, restrain your desires, and observe the 6 fasting days. Okay, this is the bargain of the year, or bargain of your life. Let's put it this way. Okay, how can you say no? Okay, now this is the Theravada version. This is not the sutra itself. This is also the commentary. If you want the sutra, go look for it. It's called the Chatu Maharaja Sutta, and you can find it under the Anguttara Nikaya. Anguttara Nikaya collection 3.37. Okay. So here it says 4 times every month on the quarters of the moon, the 33 devas or Tavam Timsa, which is Triumph Timsa, sitting in solemn conclave in the Sudama hall, order the 4 great kings to report on conditions in the human world. So you can imagine, okay, if you watch movies before, you can imagine how it's like. Okay, the gods are in this very nice adorned hall. Okay, and they're ordering the 4. So they're probably sitting like in the raised chairs, or how you say, like a like the Colosseum, like where in ancient Rome, the gladiators will fight in what? A Colosseum? Okay. So they're all looking down, and probably the stage is where the 4 heavenly kings are standing. Okay, so they tell the 4 heavenly kings, say, send out your ministers, and then they're wearing all dressed in gold and very nice, very adorned, not like human clothes, but very nice heavenly clothes. Like there's no wind, but the clothes look like they're flying in the wind, kind of thing. So anyway, they get ordered to send out their sons, the princes, and then to go out themselves to go and observe human beings and all living beings in the world. So riding in their glorious chariots, they travel from the abodes on Mount Sumeru, each in its own direction, to the lands where human beings dwell. They tour the villages, the towns, and the great royal cities. Imagine if you have your eyes open and you can see this. There, the great kings ask the local devas. These are the devas that live around your place. If the people in that place are honoring mother and father, samanas, these are Lefon people, and Brahmins, whether they respect the clan elders, keep the Uposatha precepts and vigil, and whether they are making meritorious karma. The Bhuma Devas, literally these are the earth spirits, pay homage to the great king and inform him that so and so of such and such a clan. Who is this? Your name. Okay. Substitute your given name and your family name in there. Is doing these good things, and the great king writes his name on a golden tablet. Okay. Now I told you, now you know why I wanted to share this sutra. It's different from the Mahayana version. Both has its strengths. So having completed their tours, the 4 great kings travel to the Tavam Timsa heaven and present the golden tablets to the devas sitting there in the Sudama hall. If many of those among human beings who are keeping the Uposatha and making merit, or if there are many, they should be there, right? The gods rejoice. They get happy. Why? They say, oh, we have more joining us. What perspective is that? Because the gods in the heaven of the 33, they fight with the asuras, also known as titans. They're always battling, always in wars. So if more of us get there, they're happy. Why? Because their army, more people can fight against the asuras. So they say, oh, there'll be less asuras. But if there are very few names on the golden tablets, your name is not there, then they say, oh, our host will diminish and those of the asuras will swell. That means they're going to, their future doesn't look that great. Okay. All right. So this comes, let me see. I think this comes to the end. Oh, no, I have one more. Okay. Yeah. So this sutra is called The Right Way to Wander. Wander means what? Well, as you wander means you go about life, how you live. Okay. How is the right way to exist? So someone asked the Buddha, it says, I asked the sage abounding in wisdom, meaning the Buddha, cross over, gone beyond, quench, steadfast. When a mendicant has left home, expelling sensuality, what is the right way to wander the world? That means, how are they like? So the Buddha said, when they have eradicated superstitions, said the Buddha. What kind of superstitions? Well, exactly what we've been spending the last few weeks reading about. Celestial portents, dreams, or bodily marks. With the stain of superstitions left behind, they rightly wander the world. So what does that mean? Well, when we are confused, when we are ignorant, then we try to find meaning in all of this, and we allow our lives to be controlled, or we respond to all these kind of things instead of understanding that they are just a reflection of our own mind and conduct. And once you get free of your mind and conduct of the skandhas, you also get free of all these superstitious beliefs. Okay? All right. Now, does anyone have any question to ask? Or anything you want to bring up or to share?
Fastu, may I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
It's about the Uposatha Days. Why did the Mahayana Sutta not have the first, and they have the 29th and 30th day of the lunar calendar, whereas the Theravada text has the first?
Yeah. I also that also crossed my mind because I always expected it to be first, and then let me show you. Okay. If I have it open. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let me show you. Okay, this is the handbook of Bodhisattva precepts for lay people, 6 major and the how many, 28 or 48 minor one from CDTB. And it says the 6 days are the 8th, 14th, 15th, 23rd, 29th, 30th.
But in most of the temples, right, they will have some big ceremonies on the 1st and the 15th day, right?
Yes. So on in temples, we only observe, but it's not we don't how to say, on the temples, the 1st and the 15th, we have something different, but it's not if I'm not if I'm not wrong, the principle is different from the Uposatha Days.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Are you sure the Theravada is the first, includes the first?
Yes, the Theravada Poshada days for Theravada temples are 1st, 8th, 15th, and 23rd.
Okay. Yeah. That means, yeah.
So it corresponds to the moon, the phases of the moon.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why it is that way. Does anyone know? I can try to find out. Yeah. Does anyone know? I mean, Mahayana is not different from Theravada in that respect. Like on the 1st and 15th, the full moon and the half moon day, we do the great meal offering and all that. Yeah.
I'm just very curious because 14 and 15, 29 and 30th are very close. I just wondered whether, 6 days, why is it not spread out? It seems to be very close, the 14th and
Yeah.
15th, 29th, 30th.
Yeah, so we have two explanations. One is that our version of Santa Claus, they come down and they find out whether you're naughty or nice. That's one version. And the other version is how this whole mess came into being, which is the son of Lord Brahma, Mahashvara. He can sacrifice his blood and meat, his flesh and blood in the fire so that he can have children, Yeah. So we have those two reasons. Okay. Yeah. If I can find out,
It says here the Uposatha Days are fundamentally tied to the lunar phases. So in Theravada countries, the focus is almost always on the four main lunar phases: 15, 29, 30th. The 15th is the full moon. The new moon is the 29th and the 30th. The waxing quarter is the 8th, and the waning quarter is the 29th. So the Mahayana also does it. The observance day also include the first day of the month, because the first day after the new moon is the beginning of the waxing phase. That's why they do it on the first day. So the observance days often include the first day of the month, marking the first new cycle. Then the 8th, the 14th, the 15th, 18th, 23rd, 23rd, 29th, 30th, the final 3 days.
I know there are two versions of the fasting days in Mahayana. There's the 10-day version and the 6-day version. But I'm not sure about the dates for the 10-day version. Maybe the first is included in the 10-day version. Yeah.
I think here it says the first day is because it marks the beginning of the
JinHe,
new
when you
lunar
say
cycle.
here, what are you referring to?
Well, it says here in this tradition, I'm just reading.
I know. What is your source?
Well, I'm just using AI.
Okay. Well, try to find out the source from AI. Okay, this is what I would suggest. Anyone uses AI and you want to pass the information on to other people, look for the source that the AI quotes and then go directly to the source. Okay, don't just quote the AI, because I have asked for anyone that uses AI. I don't know if you're aware AI can make things up. So I have asked. AI has actually given me 5 wrong answers in a row. For example, he tells me something about this sutra, and then I said, so I go and fact check myself, and I realized that sutra is totally different. And then AI will say, oh, I'm so sorry, I have given you the wrong information. Then it will give me an alternative. And that is also wrong. And then when I confront AI, it will give me another alternative, which is also wrong. And after 5 times, I gave up. Okay, because and this has happened a lot of times. So for anyone who uses AI, if it's for straightforward things, it's fine, But if it comes to certain things like the Dharma, AI can give you knowledge, but it cannot give you understanding. Okay, what's the difference between knowledge and understanding? Knowledge, okay, you know what it's all about, but you can't explain, and you cannot apply to different situations. Understanding comes from you reading it, digesting it, maybe from different sources, and then finding out why. And when you understand the principle. And then no matter the way the question is asked or the scenario it is applied to, you are able to answer. So that's the difference between knowledge and understanding. Okay, most schools, universities, even if it's on Buddhism, they give you a lot of knowledge, a lot. a lot of knowledge. You can find out all you want, Four Noble Truths, all you want, Noble Eightfold Path. But it's not a substitute for understanding. Okay? All right. Okay. Time. Thank you, everyone, for your contributions. Oh, my. Okay. Now, where is the... Okay, today let's do the long one. Reflection, sharing blessings. I can stop coughing. Okay, just give me a moment. Let me drink some water. Okay, I'm ready. I hope everyone else is. To the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless, through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease and all harmful states of mind. Until I realize nirvana in every kind of birth, may I have an upright mind with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge. Unsurpassed is the protection of the Dharma. The solitary Buddha is my noble Lord. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all this, may may darkness and delusion be dispelled. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, let's do 3 bows to the Buddha. Second bow. Third bow. Half bow. Bowing respect to the Honorable Master. Second bow. Third bow. Okay, everyone, I'm Ito Fort, and I'll see you all next week.
Thank you.